The difference is that instead of investing in a stock market or in something like this, you are actually investing in real projects that you can relate to. So we can call crowdfunding as crowd investing because essentially we are putting our money together in order to invest together as a community, as a crowd, as a group into a project that we feel is a valuable or a viable project. Now, but the crowdfunding does not mean we're just gathering money in order to invest in this specific project. There are certain types of crowdfunding. So we can gather our money together and invest in the shares to become partners in a company. Why would we do that? Because we believe that this company at some point in time will be the next Getir or the next decacorn or a unicorn. So we are hoping that today, when we are investing 5,000, that this 5,000 will be 1 million TL, maybe from 5 to 7 years. But there are other types of crowdfunding. We might go and say, okay, I don't want that long-term kind of investment. Can we invest in short-term financing? And this is where what we call project-based financing. Sometimes we call it P2P, peer-to-peer. Sometimes we call it crowd lending. Sometimes we call it debt-based crowdfunding. But all of this is for a project. So we don't become partners in the company, we become financiers of this company. This financing of this company can be to buy new equipment, to buy a production cycle. Maybe this company is looking for raw materials in order to deliver on a specific project. Does this mean that we are replacing banks? We get this question quite a bit. There is no single financial institution that can replace the rest. When it comes to finance, there are multiple providers for a specific service. And among these providers, among these segments of the financial services market, they complement each other. Actually, on a consumer level, you might have several bank accounts with several banks. You like this bank's mobile app, you like the credit card features of another bank, you're taking a mortgage from a third bank. So we as consumers, we use multiple service providers for sometimes similar kind of services and sometimes for alternative kind of services. So this is again similar to the people that would invest in the debt-based or the crowd lending segment. Financing of real sector companies. What got me interested into this is it gathers two sides that I started to believe passionately about. Is on one side of the crowdfunding is the crowd, which is essentially given normal people that might not come from a financial background, might not be ultra wealthy to hire investment manager and wealth managers from the big names. Is they don't have the capacity, they haven't studied how to analyze companies, how to look at the sectors, how to understand the economy in order to make an informed decision. So given these consumers, retail investors, the ability collectively to decide whether they would finance a project. So it lowers the risk as a group when they finance collectively. The funding side of things is that it allows companies that are seeking capital and an alternative, not a replacement, but an alternative. It's another solution in a portfolio of the different kind of solutions that can help the company raise money from people that they don't know. So allowing the consumer to invest intelligently in opportunities and allowing companies to raise capital. They might not be ready for an IPO to be listed on Borsa Istanbul, for example. They might not be large enough in order to sell their debt instrument to beyond Turkey. So crowdfunding as a concept allows this community to start talking to each other. So can't we do it outside of the regulatory space? Of course we can. These kind of financing solutions have existed for hundreds of years. But this is where the regulation adds a bit of framework that gives comfort, that gives peace of mind to a lot of investors, because those operators that are licensed by the regulator are responsible for making sure that the companies that are raising capital from the public are not scammers. Or if these companies don't honor their obligations, at least there are legal ways in order to get your money back. So actually the regulation helps to protect the investors. Does it remove the risk? No. You are getting a reward for the risk you're taking, even though that companies have to follow certain steps in order to be listed on the stock market. But there is a risk that what you buy today for 100 TL, for example, tomorrow will be 80 TL, depending on the market condition. So the risk of investing is still there. However, the regulatory framework reduces the legal risk and the regulatory risk. So, in brief, crowdfunding is a marketplace where normal people can collectively invest in real opportunities that they can see and feel in the local economy.